Have you met the new Miss Goldsboro 2015? Well, joining me in the studio today, I have Miss Victoria Baskett, Miss Goldsboro 2015, here to tell you a little bit about herself. Good morning. Glad to have you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You're very used to being in Goldsboro now.
I am.
So tell me when you were crowned.
So I was actually crowned January 24th, the end of January. It was a very exciting night, something that I really wanted. I've always wanted to be Miss Goldsboro. I know a lot of past Miss Goldsboros, so the anticipation and anxiety was definitely there getting ready for the night, but it was all worth it when my name was called, and it's been a wonderful journey since then so far.
Wonderful. Well, tell us a little bit about that night. Tell us what you do for your talent, what your platform is, and then we'll find out a little bit more about you.
Okay. So I actually played the flute, which is different.
Yes,
Most people sing and dance.
That's right.
So I played the flute, and I played a piece called Fuego, which is kind of a classical crossover. It's by Bond, which is a string quartet, and they take very classical pieces and put a little flair on them.
Perfect.
So Fuego is an upbeat Latin piece, and I had the background music and a kind of salsa-looking dress.
That's right.
And played my talent piece. My platform is called Get in Tune and Just Breathe, which is something that's very personal to me.
Say that one more time.
Get in tune and just breathe.
Okay.
Yes. And so it is teaching people of all ages the importance of patient safety and having an active role in your healthcare team. In June of 2013, I was put into life-saving emergency surgery, and that was my 5th healthcare provider in 3 days.
Wow.
I had been misdiagnosed with strep throat 4 times, and my 5th doctor was the emergency room where I was put into surgery. So kind of telling my story and implementing the importance of knowing your body, being in tune with your body, and being proactive about doctor's appointments, checkups, treatment, having an advocate, having people involved so that we can reduce medical errors and save lives.
You know, that is something that we all go through. That's just part of our lives and experiences. We're going to go to doctors. We're going to have situations, whether it's ourselves or our family members. It's going to happen. It's inevitable.
Yes.
So what you have gone through, and if you can give us a little more information about that, what you went through really changed your world and your perspective on healthcare.
It did. So I grew up one of those girls. I was a tomboy before I was dared to do my first pageant in 8th grade. I played sports, broke bones, got sick but shook it off. It wasn't never faced me. And so June of 2013 came around. I just finished my freshman year in college, was in summer school in Chapel Hill, a great place to be when you get sick, by the way, because UNC Healthcare is wonderful. Shout out to them. But I had just never had any issues with my health. I'd always been very strong, very healthy, and so it was weird. And they kept telling me I had strep throat, and I took the medicine, kept going back to doctors, but my face was huge. My neck and my face and throat had swollen. It looked almost like I had a neck brace under my skin.
Oh, wow.
I didn't really have a neck.
Right.
And so
did that happen over time, or was that pretty instant?
that happened over the 3 days. It was very instant. So that last doctor's appointment was kind of the turning point for me. So I waited in the emergency room for 6 hours.
Oh, my goodness.
And was finally called back, and they brought an ENT down, an ear, nose, and throat doctor, to kind of see what was going on, because they put me through a CAT scan. They found a calcium deposit in one of my salivary glands, and you can pass it with anything acidic that will get your juices flowing, saliva flowing. They usually pass normally. Mine was lodged by my jawbone, so it had abscessed, and that's the infection that spread through all of my neck tissue.
Oh, my goodness. That's a very odd.
It's very rare, yes. So it's called Ludwig's angina, and it's very, very not common, very, very rare. And so my mom showed a picture to the doctor and said, this is what my daughter looked like 3 days ago, this is what she looks like now. Kind of painting a picture for them, because they don't know what I look like on a daily basis.
They didn't know how abnormal that was, the swelling.
And it clicked in his head. The second she showed him a picture, he went, oh my goodness, okay, Victoria, I'll be right back. And left the room and came back, and they moved me into a room where they could monitor my heart rate, get me prepped for surgery before I had surgery in the Children's Hospital. But I was expecting to come out with a trach and a draining tube and be awake. And I was actually on life support and in a coma for 4 days, a medically induced coma for 4 days to follow. And then was in the hospital for about 5 days after that, and have still have treatment there. I was released from my surgeon, but I still have doctor's appointments for voice therapy because my vocal cords are a little messed up. Might eventually have surgery, but for now I'm going to channel my Nora Jones voice and dig the raspy for a little while.
There you go.
But I love UNC Healthcare. They saved my life. The Children's Hospital saved my life. And so that's the story behind the start of my platform and why I'm so passionate about really making it spread all over North Carolina and nationally as something that's important to people.
You know, I've heard that story before, but when I hear you tell that story, it really brings a new light on all of us on how absolutely we need to get involved, we need to pay attention. We are our best advocates. I understand your passion, and what you're saying should apply to every single individual in the United States and national. I mean, all over the world, because we know our bodies better than any doctor can possibly know it. So tell me more about how you have gone out to spread this, not only in Wayne County, but also across the state.
All over. So I have 2 recent partnerships with the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction and Public Health. And so they have spread my platform through their statewide listservs to local and regional health directors, all health teachers, so it's accessible to teach in health classrooms for students of all ages. And I'm in the process of working with the North Carolina Association of Free Clinics. And so the first step, people knowledge the link that they use once in healthcare so that they can seek assistance as well. And so those are my main ones besides Speak Up with the Joint Commission. And we work closely, I do, with sharing their information through Speak Up. And Speak Up is an acronym that stands for being involved and being participant and having an advocate and knowing everything that's going on in your treatment. And so it's a great tool for me to use because it's internationally recognized and people understand it better than me just telling them what I'm trying to do. So.
Wow, well that is huge, and I really do feel like you can not only make a difference right here in our community, and you are working with the different partners here in Wayne County, but you can really make a difference in helping us all be aware of our health care and paying attention and being an advocate for our own bodies. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Your story is very unusual, but it really does make us pay attention.
Yeah.
It really does.
And I like to say that my story isn't what happened to me, but what I've done since then, and how I'm very passionate about getting people involved and informing people of these things from little ages all the way to senior citizens. But people can hear more about my story on April 24th at Wayne Memorial Hospital. Because
tell us about that.
I will be speaking about my story. My mom will be speaking about her experience with my
as a
story.
Parent, my goodness.
And they will be talking about their new patient and family engagement program that they're starting. And I've been helping with kind of PR, and I'm speaking to their program next week, actually, to the people on their advisory council and what being engaged did for me and how it is important for their future patients coming through and for their doctors to be involved in. So I'm excited about that partnership, and I'm really looking forward to the 24th.
So the 23rd
of April. 24th is Miss North Carolina Work Weekend.
Yes, it is.
But the 23rd is my event.
23rd at Wayne Memorial?
Yes.
Do you know where it'll be taking place?
The huge cafeteria gathering hall.
Perfect.
So, and there will be big signs when you walk in.
Do you know what time?
So, 5:30.
5:30 p.m.
I'll be signing autographs from 5:30 to 6, and then the event will start. And my team, Catherine White, Miss Goldsboro's outstanding team, will be there as well.
Perfect.
Yes.
It's a great opportunity for people in the community to get out and meet you in person, hear your story, ask you questions. That's fantastic. Right here at Wayne Memorial Hospital.
Yes.
Wow. If you'll tell me a little bit about, you are now preparing and heading towards that. Well, we have something called Work Weekend, which most people don't understand or know about.
They're like,
so
what?
We'll just skip over that.
Paperwork?
Yeah. But we'll move on to the end of June, when you will be representing Goldsboro and competing for the title of Miss North Carolina.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit, if you will, just a snippet, because you're going to come back right before Miss North Carolina, but give us a snippet of your journey towards that experience.
So people don't always understand the hard work that goes behind a sparkly crown and a banner across your chest. It's
especially in this program.
Yes.
This is a very unique program.
Practicing your flu for hours, working out, making sure you know everything that's going on in the news, current events, because of your...
expand on that one. So that means interview preparation.
We have a 10-minute interview, 9 minutes and 30 seconds with a 30-second closing. But it's very... I don't really know how to explain this now. 5 judges, and they're just drilling you with questions. They want to get to know you, see how you can handle yourself, interact with people. It's definitely, it didn't used to be, but it's now my favorite part of competition, just because I have the opportunity to tell them and sell them on why I should have the job, because it is a job of Miss Goldsboro and potentially Miss North Carolina, and why it would mean so much to me and what I would do with it. So I think it's a time in competition that you can definitely stand out and market yourself and try to catch them early on
That's
so that
right.
you have their eye for the rest of the week.
Well, and the interview happens before other phases of competition.
Yes.
It is a one-on-one. The judges are sitting right there asking you questions about anything that's happening in the entire world. So you need to know a little bit
Everything.
about everything that's going on
Yes.
in the entire world. You could be asked about anything from healthcare, and you need to know
And
details.
I do get asked about healthcare
Yes,
because
of course
my
you do.
platform.
Of course you
Yes.
do. I mean, how many of us can sit here and say, if someone said, tell me your feelings and some details about Obamacare. How many of us could actually do that? You don't have a choice.
Versed in that
That's right.
question.
That's
Yes.
right. And it could be about anything that's happening. And honestly, the most important thing is whatever is happening up to date right that moment. If something happened yesterday in the news, you need to be aware of what's going on and have an
Yeah.
opinion about it.
Yes.
And it's not
An educated one at
an
that.
educated opinion, and it's not a right or wrong answer necessarily. It's just your educated opinion.
Yeah.
And that's what the judges want to see, how well versed you are, how passionate you are, how you handle yourself in whatever situation they may throw you in, because that's what Miss North Carolina has to do.
And it's funny how they throw questions at you. It'll go from what is your opinion on Obamacare to Victoria, what's your favorite color? Because they just try to throw you off.
Right, right. And they really
see
don't
how
care
you
what
can
your favorite
handle-
color is.
No, they don't. And then they ask another question, but they just want to see if you answer and keep moving, or if you're very thrown off.
Because
and
we don't
distracted by the
typically get
question.
asked questions
No, I'm like,
quite so simple.
orange. But what else do you want me to tell you about my favorite color?
Right, right, right.
But it's interesting. It's a part that very much intrigues me. And I walk out, and this year I want to go to Miss North Carolina and walk out of interview and not have the feeling there was so much more that I wanted to tell them. I want to make sure that I get everything out this year and they know everything about me that I want them to know before I walk out of that room. Because
And that's very important.
you really don't get that much. 30 seconds in swimsuit, a minute in evening gown, a minute and a half in talent, 10 minutes in interview. They see 15 minutes of you total, and then they put a crown on your head.
Well, we've talked
So
about
it's
this
important.
many times. I've been a part of this program my entire life, judged thousands of pageants. Still will have always and will always say the interview is the key to getting to know the young lady standing before you. Can she do the job? Will she do the job well? Will she represent that community? Honestly, the swimsuit and all the other things that happen and the evening gown, they're important, but absolutely interview by far. Getting to know that individual and what she is made of, what she can do and how she will do. Taking care of that job and representing the state of North Carolina is the most important in that particular arena. And as I talk with girls and help girls prepare, focus on that one area. You have to take care of the other. You know, you have to make sure that your physical fitness, your talent, and all the other things are a package program, but your interview is significant and will always be. And the thing that I've taught with every former Miss Goldsboro that I've been a part of, moving forward, these skills that you learn will help you the rest of your life. I know I'm preaching to the choir here. You
Oh,
understand
yes.
it, you know it, but this
Definitely.
really prepares girls to be able to speak with any CEO of any company, anywhere in the world, because if you can handle this panel of judges, and it's like a press conference,
It's rapid fire.
it absolutely is, then you can handle yourself in any situation that is put before you. And I appreciate that and hope others will understand and appreciate the program.
It's one of the wonderful things about the Miss America organization. It's actually my whole life I wanted to be a lawyer, and then after my health scare, I wanted to become a physical therapist. And so I've done tons of hours in shadowing to apply to grad school next fall. And then a couple weeks ago, I saw one of my professors on campus, and I took a class in the School of Public Health with him, and he looked at me and said, Victoria, have you ever thought about Masters in Public Health? I follow your Facebook page, Get in Tune and Just Breathe. Everything you're doing is such public health. Like, you
Right.
should apply. And I said, really? And it threw me
It had
for
not
a wrench.
clicked, right.
Yes, and so I was, okay. So now I'm in this debate of PT, Masters of Public Health, both. Which do I apply to first?
Right,
And so,
right.
But the traits that I've learned in this organization could help me be a wonderful physical therapist, but they could also help me continue on making my platform a profession and
That's
a job.
exactly right.
Something that I love very much. And so I'm thankful for this and the opportunities that it's allowed me to speak and have a reason to shout to people and tell
That's
them
right.
about what I'm doing in me, and that they can help too and get involved. And I'm
Excellent.
thankful for that very much so.
Excellent. Well, stay tuned for Victoria's journey towards Miss North Carolina. But before that, Come out and meet her firsthand, ask her questions, get to know her, and that is, tell us one more time.
April 23rd at Wayne Memorial Hospital.
5:30 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
There you go. That's your new Miss Goldsboro 2015 Victoria Basket. Follow her journey. And that's what's happening in your community.